preference?
I just asked. They're
Mayor Jelka,
Here.
Commissioner Larson,
here.
Commissioner Peck,
Here.
Commissioner Perney,
Here.
Commissioner Vanier.
Here. I'd like to invite you all to join us in the Pledge of Allegiance in a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. The first item on today's agenda is the Citizens Forum, a time set aside for any citizen who has something they'd like to bring to the Commission's attention that is not on the day's official agenda. Is there anyone that wishes to come forward? Seeing none, we will continue on with awards and proclamations.
Item 4.1, presentation of plaques of appreciation to outgoing board members.
Are some of those here?
I believe Mr. Hayworth is here.
Oh, yes,
But I can
yes.
read the names for
Yes,
you.
if you would.
If Teresa Rundell, Randy Hassler, Mary Cunningham, Tom Hutchinson, Dallas Brule, Rick Walters, Robert Hayworth, Richard Fry, David Hawksworth, and Douglas Tuborn, if are present, please come forward.
Main one.
Plaque and appreciation for service rendered to the city of Salina, Kansas on the Building Advisory Board from 2000 through 2008 to Robert Hayworth. And prior to giving this to you, I want to give you the mic and offer you an opportunity to share any last words with us.
Oh, jeez. Actually, I don't have any last words, but I did enjoy the committee. It was a very learning experience, and the Code Advisory Board actually is growing enormously first from when I started it, and I know it's going to continue that way because it's got some excellent new board members on it now.
Appreciate your service.
All right. Good enough. Thank you.
I say Hawksworth, he's there.
Oh, okay. Must have snuck in on us, David. And we also. Well. That's better. In appreciation for service rendered to the city of Salina, Kansas on the library board from 2004 through 2008 to David Hawksworth. And likewise, I'd give you an opportunity to share any final thoughts with us.
Just that the library is a great resource in town, and if you haven't been there lately, it's a lot more than books, and there's just a ton of things going on there. So I encourage everyone to go to the library and check it out. I've enjoyed being on the library board, and look forward to continuing to use the library in the future. Thank you.
You bet. Continuing on, there are no public hearings and items scheduled for a certain time, so we will move on with the consent agenda.
Item 6.1, approve the minutes of March 10, 2008. Item 6.2, remove first reading of ordinance number 08, 10,004 and 31, amending Chapter 25, Article 9, Section 25-155 of the Salina Code, pertaining to air guns, air rifles, bows and arrows, slingshots, or BB guns, until the ordinance can be finalized and placed back on the agenda by the city manager.
I entertain a motion.
There is a correction to be made in the minutes on item 8.3, where it indicates that I both moved and seconded a motion.
Okay.
Other than that, I move that the consent agenda be approved.
Second.
Move to approve the consent agenda with the minutes as amended. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That passes 5-0. We will continue on with development business.
Item 7.1, consider acceptance of offered easement, right-of-way, and restricted access dedications in the Red Fox Edition. Sub-item 7.1A, resolution number 08-6501, providing for the advisability and authorizing improvements in the Red Fox Edition, project number 08-2678.
Mr. Andrew?
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor and Commissioners, these are two companion items. The first one is laying out establishing the easement right-of-way restricted access dedications for the proposed Red Fox addition, which is located on the south side of East Cloud Street. And this is a 27-lot residential subdivision. It's located just east of Parkwood Drive on the south side of East Cloud Street and just north of the Red Fox Lane area. And what they're proposing, as you can see from the plat layout in your packets, it's an L-shaped layout, and what they've done is purchase the rear half of two very long lots that faced on Cloud Street that are occupied by dwellings, and they've incorporated the rear 675 feet of those lots into their layout, and their subdivision would be centered around a public street that would extend south of Cloud Street. Again, they're looking at 27 individual lots on 2 blocks. About 5 of those lots in the southeast corner would be impacted by the 100-year floodplain from the oxbow that's located there. As far as water service, what they plan to do is extend a 6-inch line south from Cloud Street, bring it across the oxbow, and tie it into a 6-inch line that's in Red Fox Lane. This will give them 2 connections and 2 sources of flow. For sewer service, they're planning to run a gravity line down Cloud Street about 400 feet to the west, where it will tie into a trunk line. And they will be responsible for that off-site cost, although there will be some homes there who are on septic systems that could also benefit from that. There was a determination made that the oxbow had sufficient capacity to take their runoff, so they're not proposing any on-site detention. They're proposing public streets would be dedicated and accepted by the Commission for Public Maintenance, public utility and drainage easements, and in the rear portion, drainage right-of-way where the old river channel is. The 4 lots that have frontage on Cloud Street would not have individual driveways on Cloud Street. As far as special assessments, they would all be contained within this area. The developers have a side agreement with the two homes on Cloud Street. Well, they, as developers, will pay the cost of hooking those two homes up to the new sewer system. Planning Commission considered this at their May 4th meeting and voted to approve the final plat, subject to 7 conditions that you see outlined on page 5 and 6. The corrections have all been made, and the plat is in order for your consideration. So if you concur with the action of the Planning Commission, a motion should be made to authorize the mayor to sign the plat and accept the easement right-of-way, drainage right-of-way, and restricted access dedications. There is one easement that's along the west boundary of the plat. It's not a full 20 feet, and the adjoining owners to the west, Richard and Nancy Main, will be dedicating that separately. It's 14 feet on one side of the line, and another 6 feet is on the Main's property, and that will be accepted separately by the commission at a later time. With that, I'd be available for any questions.
Back when we approved the South Ohio drainage project that was ultimately done in the year 2000, there was talk at the time of doing some work to either expand the capacity of the Holmquist Oxbow or divert some of the water into it. And now today, the blue sheet says the drainage study submitted by the applicant's engineer concluded that there was sufficient capacity to accommodate runoff from this subdivision. I take it you've looked at that and you're satisfied with it, or?
Well, there's a lot of capacity in the oxbow. One of the problems with that oxbow is there's a lot of overgrowth and unevenness, and so it's not so much its ability to store water as it is that the water gets trapped or stagnant because it doesn't flow well to get to the exit up at the northeast corner. So there has been discussion off and on of city involvement of improvements in that oxbow area, but one of the first steps would be to make that some sort of public drainage easement, and right now it's private property owned by the Holmquist Estates property owners. They basically own to the center of the channel on their side. But certainly the South Ohio project diverted quite a bit of water that used to go into this oxbow, and now it goes to the Knox sand pit.
I was looking at something else on the blue sheet. Was the last part of your comments having to do with the neighborhood park dedication? Or what was that?
Is that on the easements and dedications?
Mm-hmm.
Well, there will not be this is part of the neighborhood park service area. Currently, there is no park in this area, but there will be a fee assessed to the building permits here that'll go into that park fund.
I know it wasn't we didn't get a copy of the Planning Commission minutes for this, but there was something in the paper last time the Planning Commission met about some disagreement over some ground they were going to donate. Did they ultimately
That is
sign
not
up?
in this property.
That's
in
I'm sorry.
the Golden Eagle to the farther south.
Okay, I'm
Yes.
sorry.
It's in the same neighborhood, but it's not this particular project.
Okay. Any additional questions of staff? Seeing none, I'll entertain any public comment if there is any. There being none, we'll bring it back to the commission.
Mayor, I would move that we authorize the mayor to sign a plat and accept the offered easement, street right-of-way, drainage right-of-way, and restricted access dedications on behalf of the city for the Red Fox addition.
Second. The motion is to approve the offered easement, right-of-way, and restricted access dedications in the Red Fox edition. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That include the,
Mayor, I would also move that we adopt Resolution 086507, providing for the advisability and authorizing improvements in the Red Fox Edition, Project 082678.
that's what was on here.
District.
Is that number right?
6501, all right. Second.
We got it right. Okay, that needs a second.
Second.
The motion is to approve Resolution 05-6501, providing for the advisability and authorizing improvements on Red Fox Edition, project number 08-2678. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. That passes 5-0. We will move on with items of administration. And prior to item 8.1, we do have a request for an executive session. Mr. Bankston, how many minutes do you wish for this?
We would appreciate 25 minutes.
25 minutes. Okay.
Mayor, I move that the City Commission recess into executive session for 25 minutes to discuss with legal counsel matters subject to the attorney-client privilege for the reason that public discussion of those matters would waive the privilege, and reconvene in this room at 4:42.
Second.
Motion is to recess into executive session until 4:42. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Before we go into executive session, I do want to recognize the presence of some scouts from Troop 7. I know we have a couple of executive sessions on the agenda today, so I'm not sure how long you'll stick around. You're welcome to stay for the whole thing, but I did want to make sure that we recognized you here instead of waiting until the end of the meeting. We will go into executive session then.
Pianist Leif Ove Anderson with the Mephisto Waltz
We
number
will
1
adjourn
by Franz
and,
Liszt.
I'm going to entertain a motion to extend the executive session for another 10 minutes.
So move.
Second.
Motion is to extend the executive session for 10 minutes and reconvene here at 4:55. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That passes 5-0.